It was just after dusk when the city of Keystone vibrated with a tension unlike anything it felt before. Skyscraper glass shimmered. The air was charged. Somewhere on the eastern metro line, a streak of white and gold blurred into existence. Godspeed had arrived. Godspeed, real name August Hart, had never been the city's hero. Lightning quick and ruthlessly efficient, he believed speed existed to serve power. And for months now, he'd been looking for a worthy rival, someone who could test the very boundaries of speed itself. For most of his career, those rivals had been other speedsters, red-suited crusaders, time-traveling wildcards, vengeful doubles from alternate timelines. But tonight, Godspeed wasn't chasing another runner. It was hunting Oggar. Oggar was older than history, far older than Godspeed himself could measure. He was once known as a prodigy among magic's elite, demigod in the court of Showdown. Oggar was banished for his arrogance and ambition. He'd walked the earth for centuries, collecting power, twisting fate, earning the moniker, the world's mightiest sorcerer. And tonight he had announced his return to the world with a whisper that shook the sky. No, not the police, not the superheroes. Not the mystics in their sanctums wanted Godspeed versus Oggar. It was a recipe for disaster. Two forces of nature, with no patience for the laws of mortals, clashing in a city of glass and steel. But destiny operated on its own timeline. It began in the empty plaza beneath Avery Tower. A stray dog barked. Neon signs flickered overhead. Godspeed came in so fast, the sound thudded seconds after he stopped. Oggar didn't bother to turn. He looked into the reflection of a darkened storefront. His eyes flickered with old magic. "You seek power you cannot even grasp," Oggar said, his voice echoing off stone. Godspeed didn't answer, not with words. Lighting snapped in his fists. To him, the only proof of supremacy was velocity faster than thought, faster than magic if he tried hard enough. He launched forward, tearing through the very particles of air. But Oggar, with a wave of his hand, bent that distance with a single word. Reality buckled, and suddenly Godspeed was running in place, the world stretching out like a cruel treadmill. Oggar observed, almost amused. "You move through time like a fish in water, but water can be turned to ice." Another word, and time slowed for Godspeed just as it sped for everyone else. But Godspeed wasn't deterred. He drew on the power of the speed force, breaking the magical molasses that held him. Even Oggar seemed surprised. For the first time, there was curiosity in his gaze. In the blink of an eye, a courtyard became a war zone. Godspeed zipped past concrete pillars, tossing shockwaves designed to disrupt Oggar's focus. Oggar countered with glyphs of orange fire. He didn't target Godspeed directly, he manipulated the battlefield. The ground liquefied like quicksand. Air shimmered with hexes. For every move, Godspeed adjusted, tunneling through obstacles. Always mere microseconds from disaster. But Oggar, for all his magic, was still living in earthbound time. Speed's edge, anticipation. A speedster's mind was always a few moves ahead. The fight escalated, each testing the limits of their domains. Oggar summoned thunder with a snap. Godspeed countered, running up the bolts themselves, transforming electrical chaos into kinetic energy. In a flash, he landed a blow hard enough to shatter stone, but Oggar resisted, encased in magical wards. A second blow, then a third. The city rumbled. Glass rained down in tinkling showers. Spectators far in the distance fled, phones forgotten, sirens wailing against the night. Suddenly Oggar revealed his gambit. "You believe speed is all that matters?" He taunted, but speed is only one vector of power. Snapped his fingers. Uttered a phrase none on earth had heard in millennia. Godspeed felt his own velocity drain away, siphoned by a twisting rune. Anger flashed. In a desperate move, Godspeed forced his consciousness forward in time, outracing even the spell's grip. It worked momentarily. Godspeed flickered into the deep futurist city in ruins. Oggar's sigil carved in every stone. It was a silent warning. Godspeed realized. This fight was not about who was quickest or mightiest in the moment. Oggar was playing for eternity. Returned to the present, battered but unbowed, Godspeed made his final gambit. He drew more from the speed force than ever before, risking annihilation. He struck Oggar at the precise microsecond the next spell was woven. Lightning met sorcery. For an instant, the two powers canceled out white light swallowing shadow. Both men reduced to silhouettes locked in ghostly battle. Silence, then aftermath. Godspeed lay on the cracked stone, struggling to breathe. Oggar staggered, his robe singed, his magic flickering. Neither had won. But both understood. For now, magic and speed had reached an impasse. They would face each other again. Until that day, Keystone would breathe a little easier. But lightning still flickered on the horizon, and the world wondered which power science or sorcery would one day rule.